play guitar. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I have a green card. That's awesome.
That's okay.
It really is awesome. So I just came here with a band and tried to do the band thing and did okay, but I started doing sessions and ended up playing on a bunch of big records, and it keeps me busy.
Like whose records? Don't be shy.
Well, actually, I mean, we can get into this later, but the last few years, the big thing for me was the first Daughtry record, because Daughtry didn't have a band at the time, so I played all the guitars on that except for the one solo that Slash did. And then it just snowballed into this whole thing, like everybody's like, hey, let's get that guy that did Daughtry. So that turned into a big business. So now I just play guitar every day. Kick ass! Woo! Yeah.
You do.
Yes, sir.
Well, I gotta say, Billy, I've known Billy for, I figured it out. It's actually.
It was our first time we met. It was the first show.
Well, it was the third LA Guitar Show, and that was 25 years ago. And we had a jam session out by the poolside.
Yes.
And you and Billy Sheehan and
Geissman.
House Stories. House Stories. So it took me 25 years to get this guy to come visit me at one of these shows again. So thanks so much, Billy. So tell me about yourself.
Well, that show was really interesting because I got a photo from that show. It's me, Tim Bogert from Vanilla Fudge, my hero bass player. Jeff Berlin, probably one of the greatest players ever. And Jocko together at the pool.
Yeah.
I got it up on my website. It was a few months before he passed away, too.
Yeah.
I think. It was sad to say. But I'm a bass player. I've played for 40 years or so. And so I'm an old man. But I am, that's okay because I got to see Hendrix play.
Yeah.
But I still love to play bass after all these years. It's the one thing that I love better than anything. And I'm glad now, in a way, that the music business has shaken out the way it has. Because the only people that are in the music business now are people who love music. There's not people in it to get rich anymore, because it's not really the way it works anymore. That's okay. You play twice as much for a third of the money, and I'm totally happy with that. I'm so proud, because we're playing music for a living, and how much better could it get?
You have a new CD you just wrapped, really?
Almost done with a new Mr. Big record. Kevin Shirley's producing he just did Iron Maiden, great new record for them. And actually with Mr. Big I've had some really good success, and my #1 accomplishment was to sit and share #1 at the Tonight Show. That was cool.
And then you have solo CDs out.
A bunch of solo things. Actually I got Billy Gibbons to play a solo on my goofy little solo CD. He came over to my house and played on my stinky little CD. It was just awesome.
That is
great.
awesome.
That's great.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Talus rules.
Talent. Okay, now I want to it's going to be real loose, and so we're taking our clothes off now. No. But any questions? Anybody have a particular question for anyone in particular that they want to? Don't be shy. That's what it's all about. Just a dialogue. Oh, come on. You guys all know everything.
Somebody break the ice.
There's a question. Okay.
We got one from Mr. Josh Smith. How do you prepare for a gig? Like, say you get called by a big time, band or something like that. What do you mentally do to get prepared for that gig?
Man, when I first get called for a tour gig or something, obviously shed immediately on their entire catalog. Being a sideman is like, it doesn't even, it's cool. Your personality is cool to come through with certain artists, but some artists just want a chameleon who's just going to walk in and sound exactly like the record if you're not the person that played on the record. So it's kind of just about learning how to decipher. Like when I listen to a record, okay, I know that's a Les Paul and an AC30, and what tones I have to get this gig perfect, and that's just, that's how you get the gig and keep it. So I kind of just go into immediate shed mode on learning that stuff, and luckily I kind of have a good ear for that. It's been able to sustain me from one gig to the next.
Thanks.
Somebody else has to have a question. Do I have to ask all the questions here?
Well, I got a question.
There you go.
Josh, when you prepare like that, when you start wood shedding,
Yeah.
have you developed a technique for absorbing the material, because for the layman, you know, the person who's not used to doing that, it's an enormous task to try to, let alone learn 5 songs, 25 or 30 or even 50 songs, and you got like 3 weeks to prepare for a tour or something. That's a tremendous amount of work. What's your mindset?
My process is not to write charts immediately. Like most guys I know immediately start writing out the charts.
Mm-hmm.
I start at least 1 or 2 times listening to tunes, just playing along and trying to learn them all by ear immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I feel like I've got the closest I can do by ear, then I start writing shit down. For some reason that helps me. And the sound part just kind of, you know, when you play, I mean, I'm only 30, but whatever, I've been playing since I was 6, all of us have. When you know, and we're all into gear, so when we've been playing as long as we have, it's kind of easy to hear, you know, what guy was playing there.
Right.
You know, like you know that's a telly, and you know what you have to do right there. And then once you show up after you've got the gig, you read the situation. Like some artists, don't want to hear anything different than what's on the record.
Right.
And it's like, okay,
There's no wiggle room.
I'm not going to even attempt to you know, improvise anything. But some artists really want to hear something interesting show up. But you got to read it, you know. If you make the wrong choice, whatever, you may not be there the next week.
Oh yeah.
Just so you know, Josh, is kind of an interesting story how Josh happens to be here. I was just cruising around on MySpace, and you know, people like ask you to be your friend and all that, and I listen to stuff. And somebody, you know, I was looking at someone's site, and it was like terrible, but I look at the pictures of their friends, and I see this kind of interesting looking cat leaning against a wall with a Telecaster. I'm kind of a Telecaster nut. So I click on his site, and I go, wow, listen to these tracks. And I was like, this stuff is real, this guy's like, great. So I posted something on the gear page. I go, hey, look who I found, and I posted a link. Like, does anybody know this guy or heard of this guy? And they go, like 5 guys, oh yeah, he's Guitar Zan, and he's on this site, and we all know him, and he's a great guitar player. And I thought, wow, it's just a weird thing. So then I look at his site, and he lived like 2 blocks away from me. 2 blocks away, that's the truth. And you know, so we've been hanging out a little bit, and he's a great guy. And I said, well, fuck, man, you got to come down and be on this panel. So there it is, and he's just a monster player. You got to check him out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So let's see what else is. You want to just talk about gear that you like? Oh, there's another question. Good.
So one thing that intrigues me is perhaps for the left side of the table there, not to anyone in particular, but what percentage of work do you find via an agent, and what percentage did you hunt down and kill yourself?
Everything. I don't have anybody finding anything for me. It's all networked, friends of friends, and people I know, and people I heard of.
And as a corollary, does that limit you geographically? I mean, are you attacking business anywhere in the world, or are you focusing on a market that's easier for you to get to?
Well, fortunately, I play a lot internationally, so I know, you know, I've done records in Indonesia, Japan, and Korea, and all over the place, you know, so that, because I play in those areas, so people know me, you start to network with people then. But generally, I think, and that's what's good about the biz in LA, it was one reason why I love LA is it's a networking capital for the entertainment biz, not only for musicians, but also the cross between music and movies and TV and all that. And I hope he doesn't mind, I'll tell one inspirational little story about, you know, only in America. Greg Bissonette, drummer, one of the greatest human beings on planet Earth and a spectacular drummer, played with me, with David Lee Roth, he didn't smile. He was in doing a session for Disney with a big orchestra, and they're doing the thing, and Greg is like #1 call session guy. He can read like a bandit, and he's just awesome at anything, and just loved by everyone universally. So his brother is with him playing bass, and they got the whole orchestra, and the control room is full of suits and ties, so it's the big money session. All the union guys are getting triple scale, so you know they're burning through cash and money, so they got to get it going. So Greg was playing the thing, and the chart was wrong, and he kind of got lost on it. And he's trying to be quiet because they're in between takes. And he's saying to his brother, Matt, I don't know where I am on the chart. He goes, why? I don't know. I can't find the thing where I'm supposed to. And they're talking. Now suddenly the talkback goes on. Somebody in the control room, drummer, will you come in here a minute? Oh, shit. So he goes in, and one of the suits says to him, say something. He goes, what do you want me to say? He goes, well, say something. Read from this. He picks up the thing and reads it. Greg's now the new voice of Winnie the Pooh. Wow. His voice. They hired him to do Winnie the Pooh.
Did he get his chart straightened out?
He finally did with us. Okay. But that's it's being at the right place at the right time, networking your ass off. Don't burn any bridges, you know, and that's the most important thing. Every gig I've ever got, I'm sure that's probably true with all of us, you know. It's pretty rare that some professional guy finds you and hooks you up with somebody else. Because if somebody came to me, I wouldn't want to use him unless I knew somebody who knew him and had been on a tour bus with him, so I know it's not going to be a catastrophe. Anyway,
I got the Daughtry thing. I was working on an Avril Lavigne record with another producer, and I was hounding this guy for my money because I was broke, and it took like 4 months to get paid on 10 days with Avril Lavigne, and so I had to go back to doing the messenger service thing, and that was only for 2 days when I wasn't delivering meat out of a truck. And then so I'm talking to this guy on the phone, and we're actually becoming. I'm like, dude, you know, yeah, you know, we're talking money and stuff like this, and then we hit it off like as friends kind of thing. And then he's working for an agency that handles producers, and he goes, hey, I'm putting a band together for Howard Benson. Yeah, he's for Kirst Daughtry. He doesn't have a band. Do you want to play guitar? And I mean, the guy isn't a musician. We were talking. We only talked about money, but because we hit it off, he goes, "Why don't you play guitar?" And that was cool. But that's my first actual studio gig. I was painting the producer's garage, and they needed a guitar. It was a Tommy Lee record. It was the first Methods of Mayhem record in 1999. I'd been here for 2 years. Still working stupid jobs, painting the garage, and Tommy's like, talking to Scott Humphrey, the producer. He's like, hey, we need somebody to play guitar on this. And Scott's like, well, let's get Phil. And Tommy's like, the dude painting the garage.
There you go.
So I traded the paintbrush for a Les Paul, played some guitar licks, and he lost his mind. And he said, dude, you got to play on the whole record, and that's how that started.
Did you have to finish the garage?
See? This is one of the coolest, see, thank you. This is one of the coolest things. I was in England with my band Powder, and Bruce Dickinson, the singer of Iron Maiden, he has his radio show. So, and I went to all the Iron Maiden concerts when I was a kid in Toronto at Maple Leaf Gardens, and so now he's interviewing me in my band. And I told him the story because he asked, hey, you worked with Tommy Lee, what was that like? And then I told him, and it was the same thing. He was the only guy that asked me, did you ever finish painting the garage? Like the only guy. It was awesome.
Well, for God's sake, Mr. Heck finished the session.
And you got paid for both, right?
I got, double dipping.
Did they pay you triple scale for painting the garage?
How many coats?
I got a favorite.
That's awesome.
Right?